Hey, what's good? What's going on, everybody? You already know who this is, and it's definitely your favorite soulful child. Yeah, Shark come back at you once again at the utmost hard seven. We at the P.E.G podcast, positive energy generation, because we're positive for life. No matter what we got coming up, we're positive. We're choosing the positive through the negative. And you already know I'm in my bag with public figures around the world, artists around the world that will not only inspire you, but show that you can do this too. And I had to go get some more positivity because not just me, but so many people around the world is giving great positivity. So I had the man with the plan, you know what I'm saying? He's a father figure. He's from South Arizona. He wrote the book. He's also an author of David Next Move. I'm telling you, if you have not heard him already, I'm about to bring him on to the podcast. So stop, pause what you're doing right now. Yeah, go ahead and follow. I'm gonna bring my man Mike Gaines to the building with the Positive Game podcast. Man, how you doing today?
Feeling good, feeling real good. Happy to be here. Thank you for the invite.
Always, man. Like I said, always got to bring more inspiration to the world, more positivity to the world. And what better way to do it with my man's Mike, the Positive Games, man. You feel me? We out here doing great things. And like I said, you're a father. So that right there itself brings a good impact to our community. You know, communities all over. We need great father figures out here. So, man, before we get started and dive deeper into the podcast, again, if you're just being nosy, go ahead. Since you already know Mike Gaines is in the building, go ahead, follow that follow button. Click it on whatever social media you on. And if you want to hear social media, you know, got to stay to the end of the podcast. I'm sorry. Make sure you guys go check out the rest of the podcast. All right. So before we get started, man, we'd just like to lead in a word of prayer. I always give it up to the guests. But if you say, hey, Shar, I'd rather you do it. I'll do it. But it's just to give back good energies, good vibrations. So would you like to lead us in the word of prayer?
Sure.
All right, cool. Let's get it.
All right. Dear Lord, thank you for having us conversate today. Thank you for everybody that's tuning in, whether it be close to us or far away. Thank you for all the many blessings that you bestowed upon us. And I pray for more blessings for everybody and good health. Jesus Christ, I pray, amen.
Amen. Hey, that was for you. That was for you and you who are all listening. That prayer is for you so that we all could continue to elevate, man. So again, we got my man Mike Gaines in the building from the Positive Games podcast. He's been a podcasting for about 2 years now. Like I told you guys, he's a father of two. So he's out here big dogging it. We're out here with the fathers around the world. He's also an author of David Next Move. So make sure you guys go check out that book and dive a little deeper with us and see what was the inspiration behind that book. Not only he's a self-publisher, you guys, but he wants to spread more positivity to people like you, people like me that's looking for that daily wash. All right, so today we're going to call why positive podcasting. All right, why do we need positive podcasting? Why do we need positive people? And I said, hey, what better way than ask my man, Mike Gaines from the Positive Games podcast. All right,
That's
so
right.
Mike, what made you like just bring the word of positivity to podcast?
I'd say it goes back 2 years ago in the middle of the pandemic. A lot of people were home. I tell the story that, my kids and I, we went out to the local department store, that sporting goods, and we were in there buying up everything that you could possibly think of. Excuse me. From bicycles to baseball gloves, everything, and just trying to stay active. And so sorry, I spent a lot of time watching talk shows and things like that. I mean, because you can only buy so much, and then you just get a little burnt out of it. And I found myself watching how people were doing interviews and some podcasts and things like that. And so I told myself, if I ever get the chance to do it, I would put my own spin on it, and I would ask different questions. I would reach out to some different people, and I would put a spin on it. And that was the motivation behind it. Really, just being bored.
Being bored at the house, 2020 started. COVID started a whole snowball for a lot of people. So
Right.
I think a lot of us has reached to a max of boredom that we never knew before.
Exactly.
So that's really cool that you're like, okay, let's see something else that I can bring to the table that spice up, the boredom just a little bit. So behind just that reason, you wanted to bring something different to the world, and now that technology has made everything so available, podcasting is like the new way. So what are some ups? What are some downs that you have found along the way of podcasting that you would give to others that's doing what you're doing, maybe on their journey or has started or have not started, but they want to?
So the downs I'd say is obviously the technology can be your biggest nightmare with connecting. Um, Sometimes it just doesn't go the way you want it to if you plan out for a meeting and then something happens with somebody, whether they get sick or they gotta reschedule. It can throw a monkey wrench in everything.
Yeah.
Sometimes the equipment you use doesn't again want to work with you. And then sometimes you go through a period where you're just looking at trying to find somebody, and maybe you get a little anxiety
Mm.
that you got to work through. But as far as the ups, you'll have people that will support you, the real ones that support you, I should say. You'll find pride in yourself that you're doing something good, and I think that's what pushes you forward, just trying to reach that next goal. But yeah, there's definitely ups and downs, but as long as you persevere, you'll be all right.
Yeah, I like that. You gotta keep the goal in head, in the target, because like you said, like, you can get distracted for all the downs that happen from technology. I know that myself, going through technology and things not really panning out the way you planned it. That,
Right.
like you said, could be frustrating, but the beauty of it is you being able to control your schedule. You've been able to set the mood, set the energy. So however it flows is how you flow. And the fact that you're doing it, being an example, brings a lot of things to your children, to people around you that's watching. What would you say as a father is three good attributes that you're trying to display so that your children can follow those attributes, or so that you can impact the next person?
Well, I always tell them listening. You got to listen first. It's lost art right now. A lot of people talk, talk, talk,
Mhm.
talk, talk, but they're not really listening. They're not getting to the bottom of things, and I think that's why the communication is so bad around the world. I mean, you don't even have to go to a. If you go to a foreign country, obviously there's going to be a language barrier, but even if we just keep it, down the street, when you look
Yeah.
at somebody, you're not listening to what they're saying, and then they might be saying something and you're just blowing them off. So I always say listen, really understand what people are telling you so you can get an idea of where they're coming from.
Mhm.
And then I always tell them honesty. No matter how bad it is, be honest. People will respect you for not lying. And honesty is another thing that is a lost art with really anywhere you go. So being honest. And then I always tell them too to um strive forward. There's so many distractions everywhere. I said, as soon as you guys open up your eyes, there's a distraction. I said, look at, when you wake up, look to your left or look to your right. Where'd you put your phone at? That's a
Yeah.
distraction,
Yeah.
depending on how you use it. I said, so the distractions are always out there. You walk out the front door, you're going to school, the supermarket. Be aware, be vigilant, understand that they're everywhere. And if you can navigate through life as best you can with not stopping at those little roadblocks, then
Hmm.
good things will happen for you. Bad things are going to happen too, but again,
Yeah.
it's how you persevere and move forward that define you as a person and your character.
Yeah, I do. I really do agree. I like the three attributes that you pointed out with the listening, being honest, and always striving forward. I think those are three top key attributes that not only I feel like you need, and I do see that that's a good thing to have, especially as a father world. But I feel like a lot of us should have those three attributes and pass them down to our children because, like you said, the world's constantly changing. So you to be able to adapt to the world, you need to listen.
Right.
Listen to the people. How can you be a service? How can you help? The honesty, because that's how relationships are built, on honesty. So if people don't feel like they can trust you or that you're honest, then how can you get anywhere? And then striving forward, because like you said, there's a lot of obstacles out there. Like every day you wake up, obstacles that you wouldn't even think, like you said, the distractions, the phone. You can get up and you hear bad news. That could be a distraction. Like anything
Mhm.
that puts you in a different energy than being positive is a distraction. So the fact that you're taking those three attributes and you're starting now early with your children, man, that's great, because a lot of us as adult needs that, man. Like it's a lot of
Yeah.
us that's been has been used to doing so many things that honesty has to be a new norm for us. You know,
Right.
there's somebody out there that don't listen, so listening is a new norm for them. And striving forward, like confidence is a thing. Lack of confidence is a thing. So if you don't have the confidence, or if you don't have the willpower to push forward, then how can you strive forward? you know
Exactly.
so that is what adults need. So the fact that you're starting early with your children, like, let's
Right.
go, man.
Yeah.
They're gonna be beasts by the time they get our age, man. Ain't nothing gonna
Hopefully.
stop them. Yeah, they gonna be beasts, man. They gonna be real beasts. And I like that you're putting new things into their brain. You're showing them different ways of actually just living, healing yourself as it go with the positivity. So what would you say, as you're on this mission and you're a podcaster, and you'd say, I'm going to start this podcast that's going to give everybody this positivity, what would you say would be the main mission behind the Positive Gains podcast?
Trying to get through to anybody. If I can reach one, then I've done my job. If one person will turn from whatever it is that they're going through, because it's a bigger message, knowing that I myself as a parent, me and my wife, we might have these goals, and we're trying to make sure our kids understand this and that. But like you said, there's a lot of people that weren't brought up in that regards. They weren't taught that. They
Yeah.
only know this way. They don't know the right way. So the goal is not really just for kids, but it's for anybody that needs a positive message. Maybe you got fired from your job
Hmm.
and you're just down in the dumps, and maybe one of my interviews or something pops up on wherever, Instagram or TikTok, and maybe that clip helped you. Maybe it helped you get through your day. Maybe you got some bad news. So really, just anything. If anybody can take something away from anything that I've done, the book, whatever, then I've done my job.
Hey, so really just reaching one person a day at a time, you
Yeah.
know. And that's honestly, it's how you heal and save the world, which is really one day at a time. You're not gonna be able to do it and save as many as people in this world. You're not gonna be able to save everybody or everybody at
Right.
the same time. So the fact, like you said, if I can reach and impact just one more person that I did yesterday, then cool. And you're on a whole journey. So next thing you know, you've been there impact the millions of people, billions of people, but it starts with one day at a time. I really like
Yeah.
that. You also is an author, and you have discussed with me that you're a self-publisher author, which means you wrote this book yourself, published it yourself, which is called David's Next Move, and it is a really good children's book. So let everybody know about David's Next Move and what was the reason behind you creating this book.
So about the book, it's a real good starter book for kids, probably around ages 5 to 8, depending on the level of reading. Um, it's about a kid that moves into a new environment, just finds out that he has to pack up and move due to a job promotion for his mom, and it just details the ups and downs between moving, leaving your friends, having to be the new kid, trying out for a sports team. It's very relatable. Obviously, most of it is part of my life story. And as far as why, my mom stayed on me for forever and ever. About what are you gonna do? When I was 7, 8 years old, you need to do this, and then shift to this, do that. You can't get comfortable. And at a young
Yeah.
age, I didn't understand that. I'm like, why are you on me so much? Like, I feel like I'm already working a job, and I used to do book reports in the summer. So when a lot of kids were off, my mom had me do a book report for each month of school that I was off, and I didn't understand it. I thought I was being punished, but now that I'm an adult, I understand she was trying to get me to think outside the box. So
Yeah.
she's a big part of why, I decided to write a book. And it goes back to the pandemic. I'm thinking, well, what else can I do? I'm going to use the podcast was always the base. And then after that got going, I thought, well, now what can I do that can piggyback off that? So it's pretty good how I, was able to do it, use the podcast as the way in, and
Mhm.
now I can put different feelers out with the book and whatever else.
Yeah, yeah, that's real cool. And again, you're showing your children the different sides of creativity,
Right.
being able to take something such as a story and make it relatable to children. It's not always easy. I heard people say children's books are the hardest to write. Why? Because you have to make it relatable to a child. You have to really
Right.
go tap in with your inner child. So I really commend you for that. Just letting everybody know that you have that kid in you.
Yeah.
So thanks for that. We need that. We need
Yeah.
more people
Thank
with
you.
the kid in them, man. I appreciate it. And I appreciate that you again writing, and being a father and being a black father is even more incredible, right? Because I feel like we need that in our community. So what did you learn, from making this book? This is a self-taught book. So I mean a self-published book. So that means you did it all this on your own. You got it put out there to the world by yourself. What did you learn going through this process of self-publishing?
I did a lot of research and I figured I could do the self-publishing and I thought, you got to try. You just can't say I can't do it. If you feel like that, then ask yourself why. So
Yeah.
I had those thoughts of, I don't know if I can do this, but I just started little by little writing the story and then getting with the illustrator. And was it a process? Yeah, it was a process, because everything's through Zoom or email. But again, it just makes it that much sweeter. So the process really wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. And it's been pretty rewarding so far.
Mm. Hey, you gotta keep going, man. It may seem hard now, but now that you have done that process of actually going through writing and self-publishing your first children's book, now you can not only write it again, write another children's book. But if you want to, you can show others how to actually go through that process. So
Right.
it's just like more education that you've put into it, and that education just turned into wisdom.
Exactly.
So
And
that's
that's the way you got to be. I feel like I'm an open book. I feel like I have to share it and ask people. And I always tell people that, people that I know that are going to start a podcast, I'm not going to ghost you. If you want to know how to do something, I'll
yeah,
show you. You know what I mean? There's things that you're going to have to learn on your own, as everybody. You just
yeah.
can't learn everything. But same thing with the book. If somebody has got questions, I mean, because that's how I learned. I got ghosted big time from a lot of people,
Hey.
and there's other people that help me, and so I never forget both sides of that.
Yeah, that's fuel on both sides. Say, okay, you ghost me, that's cool. I'm just gonna gas
Yeah.
me a little bit more to go get that help. And then you got
Yeah.
the people that actually was there to help you. So they make you feel like you said, more rewarding, that everything came as not as planned, but as divine
Right.
timing meant for it to happen. So, keep going, keep pushing with the podcast, keep pushing with the books. Let everybody know what's the next projects you got coming up in the future.
So I have another book, hopefully due out around Black Friday or Christmas time.
Hey.
We'll be bringing the same character back, David. I have more podcasts lined up. Uh, and that's it right now. I'm just trying to not put too much on my plate and to just make sure that I'm pushing forward, but I don't burn myself out, because I see a lot of people that started in the podcast journey, if you will, they're not doing it anymore. So I don't want to do too much.
And you want to burn yourself out early on.
Yeah.
And you got to keep it live, man. You got to make sure you keep it fun, you know,
Yeah.
keep it engaging. If you don't feel like it's engaging, then of course you're not going to get onto the podcast. You're not gonna be eager to do one. So that's really awesome to hear that you're out here pushing, impacting, and just doing it one day at a time. And I love it, through listening, through honesty, and just striving for. These are attributes, like I said, I feel like all of us should have, not just as children. And the fact that you're not only teaching children, you're teaching adults. We need that.
Right.
Let everybody know your social media if they want to actually get dived in with you, ask you questions, get more interactive with you. How can they find you on social media?
So Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook are all the same. Be at the Positive Gains. That's the main stuff. Same thing with the YouTube channel, the Positive Gains. It's all the same.
Hey, so you want to tap in with my man, get to know what he got going on in the future. Tap in whenever you want to write a book. I encourage you guys, if you want to write a children's book, do it. Write a children's book. It don't have to necessarily be a children's book, but write a book if that's something that you have in your brain to do. Should do it. Yeah. If you can actually, Mike, leave a message that would change the world in 15 seconds, or like you said, impact just one more person, what would that message look like?
I'd say there's going to be bumps and bruises along the road, but it's okay. And sometimes it's better to take the stairs instead of taking the elevator, because it will be worth it.
I like that. No, I like that hard. I like that for real. Sometimes it's better to take the stairs than the elevator, because sometimes that journey is needed so you can be more humble. Right. That actually made me think yesterday. Me and my wife had let one of our friends borrow a car, and so we got actually stuck in the rain. And we had to go get the children. So their bus stop is like not like the next street over. So we ran in the rain, and we got caught in the rain. It wasn't raining when we walked, but when we was walking back, it was pouring down. So it made me a humbling moment there. I was like, what if I had no car at all?
Right.
You know, like what if I had 0 cars, period? And what would I do? Right. So that was a humbling moment, because there's somebody that actually had to walk through that rain, and they do it every day, not knowing that it's going to rain or not, you know? Exactly. So, hey, humbling moments, you know, you don't necessarily have to go through the easy route, because the journey is meant for you to understand. So I like that. Mike, I appreciate you actually getting onto the podcast and just uplifting the next person with me, man. If you guys didn't really get much from that, look, I'm going to tell you right now, pause what you're doing. Go replay it, you know, and I promise you got to get the message that was meant for you. Okay. Look, it's all about positive energy for life. We're choosing the positivity through the negative. We didn't say there was no negative, because 2 negatives equal to a positive. So you got to have the negative to get to the positive. Find the negative, stay inspired, stay loved. And if nobody told y'all today, tomorrow, yesterday that they love you, know that Shar loves you from the P.E.G podcast. Mike Gaines from the Positive Gains podcast love you. All right. And if you just need some more love because you didn't get that many hugs as a kid, or you just a little selfish and you need a lot of hugs, that's all right. Replay this video or replay this podcast and hear me say you are loved, because you are loved. All right. We love you today. We love you tomorrow. And look, continue to live and inspire. All right. Anything else you want to say to the people?
No, that's it. I just appreciate you again for having me and all the great work that you're doing. You know, keep it up. You're an inspiration as well.
Thank you, man. We appreciate you for, like I said, being that father figure in the world. No matter what your color, your race are, you are a father first. And the fact that you're stepping out there, giving children around the world and your children different attributes of how to look at the world, man, we need it. So shout out to you. Shout out to the fathers all around the world doing something different. And Mike, thank you for coming on to the podcast. We appreciate it. Anything you need, let us know. And you already know, man. Let's get it. Let's go. Let's go.